What's up, guys? It's me, the AO Elite Double X Prince, and I forgot to say that in the previous couple of videos, but I guess I'm gonna start saying it now. Yep, I'm the Double X Prince, people. But yeah, I want to talk about a topic here that's been going on since the DC Extended Universe was gonna happen. And I guess you guys are saying, uh. that it's trying to compete with Marvel. It's trying to be like Marvel, better than Marvel, and some point I do see it, particularly with Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Uh, Basically, it started a little bit there where the whole movie it was just trying to just catch up to Marvel. I mean, we had like 6 good movies in there, and then out of nowhere we just have like just a bunch of like kind of crazy stuff like the whole Jesse Eisenberg's plan wasn't working. There's a lot of lack of story going on in that movie. And before you guys say that I hate the movie, there we go. I got the Ultimate Edition. You see Batman, you see Superman. It switches back and forth. You got Wonder Woman in the back. It even got like the book and everything. So yeah, I don't hate the movie. I think it's a pretty good movie. But I do see the problems with the movie, and thankfully to the Ultimate Edition, we fixed some of the problems that we've had with the movie. But at the end of the day, when a movie is called Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, you want to see a Batman versus Superman, not exactly Dawn of Justice, where you could set up Dawn of Justice, but in a different way. And yeah, this is the argument going on, and I feel that, and I've even talked about this in my Suicide Squad review, that it should have been, um, like a bunch of standalone movies before you get to certain movies. Um, Hell, I even think that Suicide Squad should have happened around Phase 2 of the DC universe. Like I said, you could have had like your main villain, like your main like heroes. You could have had a Batman movie, a Superman movie, not Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. You could have had all their individual movies before you got to the Justice League, and now we find out that the Justice League is going to be the 5th movie in the DCEU. Now we look at Marvel. Before we got to the Avengers, we had Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and then the Avengers. So it was the 6th movie in the franchise, but the difference here is that the the whole movie here, uh, like I said, it was the 6th movie in the franchise, but we still haven't gotten the chance to learn about any of these characters. The only people that we truly learned about was Superman, a little bit of Batman, even though we've known the origin story for since Batman Begins. We've known that story. We're gonna get to learn a lot about Wonder Woman's story, and then we're gonna get Justice League, and Suicide Squad can kind of stand on its own. That's why I said it should have happened in Phase 2, because it's been getting a lot of comparison to the Guardians of the Galaxy, with the whole bunch of unknowns making something out of themselves, and then forming like a family, and then becoming the Suicide Squad, similar to Guardians of the Galaxy. And even the sound, like even you guys could argue that the soundtrack is a huge comparison. So I feel that Suicide Squad could have definitely been Phase 2, or they could have waited a little bit longer for this movie to happen. I still enjoy Suicide Squad. I think I gave it a B minus in my review. It's one of my favorite superhero movies this year. It's right behind Civil War, Deadpool, and of course X-Men Apocalypse, which is a movie that a lot of people hate, and I shouldn't even argue about that for a while. But anyways, the DC universe, I feel it should have started getting to know these characters before we got into Justice League, because after the Justice League, we're gonna get Aquaman movie, The Flash. We're getting introduced to Shazam, and I could care less about Shazam, but yeah, The Flash and Aquaman and Cyborg. We're gonna get Justice League 2, before we get to cyborgs in standalone movies. So I feel like the problem here is that everything's kind of mixed up around. And I get it, they're trying to be different from Marvel, but they could use some stuff that would work. A good example, like that they could use, like, cause imagine this, imagine uh, um, if Captain America: Civil War happened right after Iron Man 2 or something like that, you know? If it'll be kind of mixed up and all weird and stuff. So I think that this whole competing, I think I'm getting a little off topic, but the whole point I'm trying to talk about here is that the Marvel, you could love the Marvel universe as well as loving the DC universe. You know, you can't have one over the other. I know that DC universe is getting a lot of hate, but even there, it shouldn't be getting too much hate. I mean, with the Rotten Tomatoes score, 27%, 26%, 35%. I know that they're going way too harsh on these movies. Some of and even Man of Steel, I got a 55%, which is not that bad. It's actually my favorite movie of the whole universe, but even that movie should have been a little bit higher. And don't call me that I'm a comic book nerd. I'm this, I'm that. I just like good movies. I find myself entertained and stuff. I even say that some of the critics are wrong. There's movies that I like that people hate, and there's movies that people love that I hate. You know, um, yeah, like one good example would be Avatar. I fucking hate that movie. It's actually my least favorite movie of all time. And now I'm not talking about The Last Airbender, even though we could all agree that's a terrible movie. Avatar, the most highest rated movie of all time, and why? Just because James Cameron came back out of nowhere. Uh, so yeah, I hate that movie, but a lot of you people love it. What's another movie that people? I'm trying to think of a movie that I like but people don't like, without saying quite Batman v Superman, because I have friends who enjoy parts of the movie. Yeah, but most of my friends hate Batman v Superman, and I enjoyed it. So um, it just probably is based on taste, and plus for me, I think that the whole, if the DC universe was like tremendous and it was perfect that everybody could enjoy, maybe we could have gone somewhere like a lot crazier for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Cause think about it, most of these movies have been kind of like too jokey, too comedy. Some of them kind of suck, to be honest. Iron Man 2, I don't hate as much as people do, but I get the hate. I hate Iron Man 3. Um, Thor 2 is kind of boring. Avengers 2 is kind of boring. Ant-Man was good, but even you could erase that movie off the MCU, kind of. Um, yeah, but Incredible Hulk, a lot of people hate that movie. I also think it's okay, but yeah, even there I see like the hate for this movie, but um, like, and then we get to Civil War, which I want to really talk about. Captain America: Civil War, the most recent movie in the MCU. I love that movie. Don't get me wrong. And I actually have a friend who hates the movie a lot, and he thinks that it sucks simply for the fact that um, it wasn't Civil War, people. Um, and I gotta agree. If you think about the movie for a while, um, the Civil War is basically Captain America 3. Um, and I get why they put the title Civil War, because Captain America versus Iron Man, but I felt like they could have used something else. I enjoyed the movie still, nonetheless. I gave it an A, for God's sakes. Um, but yeah, I gotta agree. It was a little too childish. The airport fight, which is getting praised to death, it wasn't something too serious because they were just fighting without exactly trying to kill each other. Like, it was just them kind of just fighting just cause. And I get like the whole War Machine when he fell, and Falcon apologizes, but Iron Man still like shoots him. I remember that. War Machine was still alive, so we have this entire Civil War storyline, and nobody dies in this entire movie. Captain America didn't die, Bucky didn't die, War Machine didn't die. You know, all these characters that, you know, if somebody in Civil War died, and I would have chosen War Machine, because of the fact that like how it, like, that would have been like a good way to like say that this is a dark movie, because it still has like that like kind of friendly type of movie, because even before the fight it still had like a bunch of like jokes and stuff. I get Spider-Man, he was supposed to be like the funny one. I get Ant-Man was supposed to be the funny one, but even there, like, it could have gone somewhat serious for in some parts, and the whole War Machine death could have helped it a lot. Um, so I've been saying that since the movie came out. That it's a good movie, but it ain't my favorite of the MCU. People putting that movie at number one. I don't know why. And okay, I get why some people enjoyed it more, but I can name four better movies in the MCU that were way much better. Iron Man, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, The Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Those four movies I enjoyed a lot more than Civil War. All the other movies, which aren't bad, they don't stand out. That's the problem with the MCU's. If the movies, I mean, every movie here in the MCU is there's not particularly a bad movie in the MCU, but even some of them don't like stand out a lot. Like even some people never even talk about the first Avenger. Some people don't even talk about the Thor movies. The Incredible Hulk, which I forgot when I was making this list. Um, Iron Man 3. People talk about this movie a lot, but have mo- most of the people, including myself, do not like Iron Man 3. Simply for the fact that, you know, the Mandarin wasn't good enough. It wasn't even a dark movie. Uh, Iron Man blew up his suits and then he came out in Age of Ultron. So that movie was kind of messy. It really was. So that's the thing with this movie. And you could say that the DC universe, it's not doing so well as far as the quality of the movies, but even there they have moments. I mean, already we got the death of Superman, which I have said could have waited until like Man of Steel 3, because how perfect would that trilogy be? I mean, they're already working on Man of Steel 2, but I'm just curious what exactly are they gonna do with that, with the fact that Superman died already. I mean, if Superman dies again, it won't matter because he already died due to Doomsday. So that was like the big problem. And even there, I mean, Man of Steel was a good standalone movie, and that's why Batman v Superman should have been its own movie, fighting, you know, with the whole fighting. In fact, this is how I would have booked it. Basically, you could keep majority of the stuff the same. Ignore the Lex. Actually, have Lex Luthor's plan be there, but don't make Lex Luthor's plan something else. Um, Wonder Woman could be in the movie trying to stop Lex Luthor, like she's like her own standalone character. Like you have Batman v Superman, and then you have like the whole Lex Luthor thing, and then actually cross the um maybe not have Wonder Woman in the movies. Maybe save her until like her own standalone movie, because that movie was supposed to be next, you know, right after, next year, and maybe have like the whole fight between Batman and Superman be going on at the same time. Lex Luthor, you know, because he's crazy, he's trying to kind of form the Justice League, or trying to go after the Justice League characters. He's trying to get rid of these characters, maybe because he's, you know, crazy like that, I guess. And maybe because Superman's the most hated person, he tries to kill Superman. So maybe during the fight, Lex Luthor gets involved, and you know, maybe we could bring like that iron suit, you know, that Lex Luthor had, and maybe you guys could say that it's a low budget movie, but I'm sorry, we could afford that much destruction in the city. We could afford a Lex Luthor suit. Maybe get rid of Doomsday for God's sake, and then maybe have him for later, and then maybe it becomes like a 2-on-1 and stuff like that. And eventually, like, I feel like they could like do something where it gets to the point where Lex Luthor uh, kind of sends Superman off. Like, kind of remember in the movie where Superman's just in the planets, just kind of laying down. I feel like instead of going back to the fight, he goes back home in the snow, where he has that speech with his dad. Meanwhile, Batman and Lex Luthor are fighting. Eventually, Batman wins. Batman sends Lex Luthor to Arkham Asylum. Then he goes, he's coming. Maybe that could lead to Steppenwolf. Superman, has that speech with that, and maybe that could have formed the Dawn of Justice. And then as Batman's kind of just looking through, like scrolling through, like all the characters that are going on. Maybe in Justice League, maybe that could have helped, have like set up Justice League, them finding out everybody, and then as well as Superman coming back somehow while they're trying to take on Steppenwolf, and that would have been perfect. Maybe that's a better way to book it, as well as also trying to have their own standalone movies, as I said. So that could have been really good. I don't know with you guys how you guys would have booked Batman v Superman. I'm actually interested to know how you guys would have booked that entire movie, and maybe even make a video. Some people, I challenge some people to make a video and maybe send me a link to it, because I'm interested to see how people wanted the movie to go down. And another thing that I will give praise to the DC universe that the Marvel doesn't have, um, the visuals. Maybe because Zack Snyder's directing it, but the DC universe easily has some of the best visuals out there. I mean, if you look at Batman v Superman, each movie could have just been like just in a frame or something. The only problem with Zack Snyder is that he would lack on storytelling. Even Watchmen, which is one of my favorite graphic novels out there, even that movie lacks on some storytelling, but it works for like the movie that it's trying to be, as well as 300. So there's nothing against Zack Snyder, so I just give you that. And I didn't even talk about Suicide Squad. David Ayer did a good job with the movie. I give him praise for that. Maybe it wasn't what you guys expected. I have heard the argument that we didn't get to see bad guys be bad guys. We saw bad guys set mission to do something good, which I would agree. Yeah, it would have been cool to see like them doing bad guy stuff before, and that's why I also felt like some of those characters could have had like their own standalone movie. Katana, Harley Quinn, but I feel like even there, some maybe should have not gotten a spin-off movie, like I've said in the past. So there's like a lot of things that I would like definitely change. And again, save this for Phase. Easily, you could have saved Suicide Squad for much later. And especially with the whole Flash scene. So yeah, and then the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like what does help this movie is that it started slow. It took a risk of like it took risk, but at the same time they waited a little bit for those movies. And I think, like I said, even some of them that don't stand out that much, like Iron Man 2, Hulk, um, they're all enjoyable to watch. It's like one long TV show, and I'm excited for to see what they do with Doctor Strange. I want to see what they do with Spider-Man: Homecoming, Black Panther. I'm definitely excited for Black Panther since Ryan Coogler's been directing, who have directed Fruitvale Station and Creed, two of my favorite movies from each individual year. And then if we look at the movies for DC, we still have yet to know when the Batman standalone movie is gonna happen. But when it does happen, it's gonna be amazing, especially with Ben Affleck. He has been my favorite Batman in this entire. I like out of all the Batmans we've had, besides him killing people, which I wish they'd explain why he killed people. They kind of do in the extended universe, not in the extended, the Ultimate Edition. My bad. Feel that they kind of do explain the whole, oh, well, all the bad guys are just gonna come back and escape. Might as well just kill them. Maybe like an explanation like that could have helped. You know what I'm saying? And I still feel weird that they were gonna wait for Green Lantern until Justice League 2. Who else? Wonder Woman's coming out. I'm Man of Steel 2. So I feel that the DC universe is in. I do see the problems, but it shouldn't be that bad. I mean, you could love both universes, and maybe just get a kick out of it. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to enjoy good movies, and there's that. So there, yeah, even DC Universe, Marvel Universe, they're both great. They shouldn't be getting all that hate. It's been good for them, and I think I'll just conclude just saying, yeah, just watch the universes, enjoy them. Watch the TV shows, Arrow, Flash, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Defenders. You know, all of these shows definitely help the universe a lot too. So, um, I just say enjoy whatever you want. If you don't like the DC universe, that's fine. If you like the Marvel universe, that's fine. Just, if you just don't be trying to pick whether which one's better or which one's worse. Just enjoy them for what they are. Um, be lucky that you're lucky people that you guys get movies like these now. Now we're getting, enjoyment. So yeah, have problems with movies, but don't hate one over the other. Just enjoy a movie just because. Um, and don't let the critics kind of make your decision. Anyways, I think I'll just end it there. It's me, the ALE Double X Prince. And until then, I'm out. Subscribe.